people think that corruption is a victimless crime. And of course, it isn't in those countries where it's a way of life, where it's quite frequently and rightly been called a tax on the poor. But the sort of corruption that we deal with, grand corruption, usually committed by people in power, they affect ordinary people's lives too.
Corruption is abuse of money and power, but without a clearly identifiable victim, it remains an evasive problem. Corruption is, however, a very serious problem that undermines democratic decision-making processes, which tend to be particularly fragile in developing countries. It often involves the theft of public money, whereby individuals or companies land public project tenders through the use of bribes. Not only does a bribe give an unfair advantage, it can also have dire consequences for the public.
If you've won it by giving a bribe, there's no incentive on you to perform it properly. So all over the world one sees examples of hospitals that are badly built, or bridges or roads that collapse. So yes, I mean, in every sense, corruption, big and small, and fighting it is terribly important.
Helen Garlick is a member of the International Corruption Hunters Network, which the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation facilitates as part of its anti-corruption work in developing countries. The network brings together prosecutors and leaders of anti-corruption agencies to exchange experiences in the fight against large-scale corruption.
Corruption often involves people in high places, government officials, industrialists and people with lots of money.
Billy Downer realised this when he was investigating the South African businessman Shabir Shaik on suspicions of fraud and corruption. The case was particularly sensitive because of Shaik's ties to the current South African President Zuma, who was then Vice President. Another prosecutor and member of the Corruption Hunters Network, Juan Cobillo, made the same discovery when he investigated the ex-president of Costa Rica, Rafael Calderón, for having accepted bribes from a Finnish medical company.
En este tipo de casos, la dificultad no es tanto el caso, porque si nosotros como fiscales consideramos preparados, sino la presión política.
The Corruption Hunters Network seeks to circumvent this political pressure. Eva Joly, whose idea it was to set up the network, argued that it was crucial to invest in dedicated individual prosecutors from all over the world. Corruption in developing countries is often a cross-border problem, whereby illicit money is hidden away in developed countries. The network allows corruption hunters from both developing and developed countries to share crucial knowledge and experiences in dealing with this reality.
Having gone through the Corruption Hunters Network experience, you know that you're not alone. It's nothing unique. Other prosecutors in other parts of the world are also experiencing the same problems, and it's interesting to learn how they deal with them, the successes they have, the failures that they have, and then you learn from both the successes and the failures.
El solo hecho de estar acá como fiscal, y no solamente en las reuniones, sino en los cafés o durante las cenas, conversar con otros compañeros y que te puedan dar un consejo, eso es muy valioso, y eso no se encuentra en ningún otro tipo de organización, en ningún otro tipo de evento que se realice a nivel internacional.
Achieving results in the fight against corruption is challenging. Helen Garlick knows this all too well. She was forced by Tony Blair to discontinue an investigation that had gone on for years into allegations that British Aerospace had bribed Saudi Arabian princes in order to secure a weapons deal. The corruption hunters have nevertheless achieved extraordinary results. Billy Downer managed to have Shaik convicted, and in Costa Rica, Rafael Calderón had planned to run for presidency again when Juan Cobillo managed to have him sentenced to 5 years in prison instead. The results being accomplished serve to strengthen the conviction that the fight against corruption is worthwhile.
Sometimes we talk about it and say it's like trying to move a mountain using an egg spoon, and I suppose that's right, but it is nevertheless terribly important to keep trying. And there are examples of countries in the world where determined efforts to clean up from top to bottom have made a real difference to people's lives.